Every father is a superman and every mother is a superwoman, and conscious parenting is their true superpower. I deeply, deeply believe in this thought. And every parent wants that their kids to become successful and become good human beings. Welcome to yet another episode of Success Principles by Successful Principles, a parenting project. My name is Kamalneet Singh. I'm a mindset coach, a TEDx speaker, and author of an upcoming book called The Extraordinary Kids. This series, Success Principles by Successful Principles, is driven by an idea, which is that across the world, we have a degree to manufacture a small little pin, to manufacture a gigantic plane. But the moment it comes to parenting, we are driven by we are a lot driven by hit and trial, which is not bad, but sometimes the damage of unconscious parenting can be too much, and repairing that can be a difficult task. That's how the idea is that, within the series, we bring the best of the educators across the world and their wisdom, because these educators, they have dealt with thousands and thousands of kids, parents from different walks of life, and they know this subject, at the back of their hand. And with their wisdom, we as parents, our journey, the beautiful relationship that we share with our kids, this parenting journey becomes a beautiful one. And I'm thankful to all the educators who have contributed to this. And this episode is a very special one. We have somebody very, very special. We have an educator extraordinaire. We have with us the principal of Maxfort School, Dwarka, New Delhi, Miss Priyanka Bhatkoti. First of all, madam, thank you for taking out time for being a part of this show.
It's my pleasure to be here and deep honor because, I have always believed that principles have to be principally centric. So, going even by the title of your series out there, it reaffirms my belief, because principally centric, the axis is there. If the axis is there, our world can rotate safely.
True, true, true. So, all the parents, I must tell you that you are in for a treat. You might want to have a pen and a notepad so that you get the ideas in place and implement them as we move forward. But before we move ahead, I would like to give you a little brief about the special educator that we have with us today, Ms. Priyanka Bhatkoti. So, she's the principal of Maxfort School, Dwarka, New Delhi, an alumni of prestigious Convent of Jesus and Mary, Dehradun. She's taught at premium institutes in Panjim and Gujarat, a University of Cambridge CELTA qualified professional. She works with the belief that quality education can be easily made accessible and affordable. She's an acclaimed resource person for teachers, for training the teachers, a chapter head for English Language Teachers Association of India for the Delhi West chapter, keenly involved in developing training material on pedagogy of teaching for CBSE and other premium organizations. Recipient of many awards by leading educational organizations, her latest accomplishments are leading in the field of content development for teaching, and especially with relation to the new education policy 2020. Now, she's somebody to put it in three words. Passionate, dynamic, and creative. We are glad that you are with us on the show today. Now, you have led a lot of sessions. You have been dealing with parents all across. You have seen them, from different walks of life with different challenges, and you see that every parent has this one core desire, inside, that हमारे जो बच्चे हैं ना, they should become successful and they should become good human beings, right? That's what is at the core of every parent. That's how they think. Now, I would want to take your opinion as to what do you think. What does it really take for a child to be successful in the real world?
Okay. I think it's very simple. First and foremost, acceptance from the parents for what they are, exactly what they are, and a lot of love and affection. When the child is born, the child does not have a choice in who the parents are. Yes, parents have choice out here, the child does not. And
True.
the child comes into the family, and the child accepts everybody into the family, from the uncle to the grandparents, etc. They don't go across with a checklist that I want this feature in my father, I want this feature in my mother, and this is what will make them accomplished parents. So our children need to be given the same treatment what they give us, acceptance and a lot of love and openness. We know there will be trends. Sometimes techies will be very fashionable by way of recruitment and the kind of salaries they command. Sometimes it's going to be sports person, and suddenly it's going to be media person or influencers on the net there. Yes. That does not mean that a child comes into fashion or goes out of fashion. The child will always be relevant. The child will always be very important and has to be the focus of our attention, but not extra attention. So there, first and foremost, our affirmations have to be there with the child, and the child has to firmly believe that no matter what, my parents love me, my teachers love me, and I am important. It is not very difficult. Yes, spending time with them always helps. Being firm with them helps, because there is a very alarming trait which has started to come. It's not just here, but it's across the world. Don't say anything to the children. Now, if we don't tell them what is right and wrong from the early stages, I'm not saying that we are preaching with them every time, but we will have to model good behavior with them at all points of time. If we as parents and family don't tell, we don't expect later on, when they are grown up and adults out there, their stories to be written of the media that somebody violated the traffic rule or the BMW went across over a speed with an underage driver, because there was somebody who could have said a no at a very early age, and because that no did not come, the yes that came was very harmful. So we have to be very, very, very ready and very firm with what is a no is a no, what is a negotiable is a negotiable. Okay, you want this toy, maybe next month, not now, because you already have 10 toys you've got this month. There is a limit to what nature will give you, there's a limit to what you can take. And yes, our affection can be infinite, but the time that we have in a day is 24 hours. So routines have to be set in. Very important. Parents will have to have routines from the moment the child is a toddler, to let them sleep on time, to get up on time, to eat the right food on time out there. And if you have those structures, a child that goes to school, definitely the school will be able to partner the parents into turning out a very successful and, more important, a happy, satisfied individual. Because success is relative.
True, true, it
What
is.
many may count as success with billions in the bank may be a failure, because that person has no relationships in life. Yes. So we would like, as educationists and school, to harbor individuals who have a very happy and healthy work-life balance.
That's powerful. And all the parents out there, uh, I am sure you would have made your notes out there. And what I picked up was, attention is important, but be careful of the extra attention. And yes, all the parents out there who say that, gone are the days when we had, 5, 6, 7 kids. All I have is one or two. So that becomes the cover to give that, extra pampering and that instant gratification. I love when you said, an early no would have saved him from the harm that happened. And so instant gratification is not the mantra, right? I think delaying the gratification is the key out there. So very powerful. Now, parents, everybody wants that, and I like when you said that, success is a very relative term. It can mean different things to different people. And I'm glad you pointed that out, that sometimes, when you talk to kids also, and when you ask them that their definition of success, they tend to point towards the materialistic outcome. That's how they relate to it. So all the parents out there, आपके शोल्डर्स पे ना रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ज्यादा है कि बच्चा जो है वो यूनिफाइड तरीके से सक्सेस को ना देखे. He looks at success in a very, very holistic way. Now that the title of the series is Success Principles, by Successful Principles. So success is the word. Now you have done very well for yourself. The school under your leadership has done very, very well. Has earned fame and reputation across the country. Now, and it's not easy, and not everybody rises to the top. It's true, and it's a hard fact. So wanted to understand from you. Maybe if you can share a couple of mantras that helped you in becoming successful, that came as the secret sauce. Let me say that.
I don't think there is anything difficult in becoming successful in today's world, because the choices are so many. We are living in a world of opportunities. First and foremost, we have to become aware of what is around us. Yes. The next thing is, we must know ourselves. So there are so many people that I find who are still discovering their life in 40s, 50s, and 60s. So we have parents who are changing careers again and again because they haven't found their calling. Or you have relationships which change at the drop of a hat out there. And all these things affect wherever we are there. Yes. So one is, just because somebody is jumping the boat does not mean that you have to jump too. If you have something really good that satisfies you and is on the path to your life's alignment, I think we should be happy and grateful there. There shouldn't be too much of dissatisfaction. It's good to be ambitious, but if you're going to be over ambitious, it's not going to work. So first thing, hard work again has to be there at all points of time. There is no alternative to hard work. You can't just delegate your own work. There are so many people who would delegate parenting, who would delegate the studies that they have to do. There are companies which write projects for students out there. Now, such students may get the grades, but they will not go very far in life. Yes, because the stamina which brought them the certificate is not in them, it is somewhere else. So somebody else has become richer at their cost. So do your own work on your own. So I have written circulars. I started the journey in a wonderful, most premium school out there, and I wrote and rewrote and rewrote till I was happy with it. But then to perfection also, there has to be a time limit because submissions have to be in time. So look at giving your best, but within the time that is available to you. Otherwise, perfection turns into a disease. We cannot have, obsessive compulsive disorders about certain things there. So I'm going to use the terms there. So there has to be. So when you do a draft, a rule of three works out. You work something, look at it, edit it, and again come back. You're an author. I'm sure you're editing all the times, and every time you read what you have created, there is a deeper insight to what you have done there. Next is whatever has been done in that time, because the circumstances demanded it to be, then we have to be happy how it has to be done. But a reflection has to come as to what could have been done better. So there is a reflection time that I have every day, which I ask all my team members and our students to have, that what could I have done better so that the wheel which is there is getting improved every day, every month, and every year. The wheel is there with everybody. We've got our life there, yes. Now, how we spend that life can improve by the wisdom of the ages. Now, again, another part is our focus was always our students, because in education, there are thousands of things that you can do. Now, we looked at our parent community, we looked at students and what is relevant, and every year we change that. So change is a constant, but it is not dominated by what our competitors are doing. Sometimes education is taken like an industry. No, it is a vocation. You have to dedicate your life, and people or human beings remain the same and they change. Now that's an oxymoron. I'll just define. Our universal values will always remain the same, but our circumstances will change. Our facilities will change. So we have to make accommodation for that. Last but not the least, if you compromise on your principles there at times, sometimes you have to pay a very hard price for our principles. The journey may not be easy. It's easy to say that you have so many students, you have results of this, but what has taken to achieve all that, it has never been easy. Every day, every minute, you have to work hard for it. Yes, and that's where the beauty of life is, because when you're working hard, you're happy, and when you're doing something that you love doing, it's never work. It's it's a party. So I hope that all students find what they love to do in their life as subjects, as professions, and they have the good health to be able to invest their times and energy. So then work is fantastic.
It's brilliant. I think you shared quite a few powerful points, and let me see jo badam hai, if they are working well or not. The elements. I heard you talking about hard work. So all the parents out there, all the viewers out there, hard work will definitely play a role. So that's one of the keys which has to be taken into consideration. And I love the fact that you cannot really delegate parenting. So parents ही आपके लिए है.
You can't delegate.
ये delegate नहीं हो पाएगा. It's like saying that nobody can do push-ups for you. You got to do your own push-ups. So that's one.
Or eat your food for you. The food people can help out, but you'll have to eat your own meal.
True. You'll have to eat your own meal. So that's again a key point up there. And you spoke about perfection. So all the parents out there, sometimes we do get with that perfection mode. We get stuck in it. And I like the formula that you gave. 3 to 1. 1, 2, 3. Either ways you look at it. So a popular line that I heard in one of the programs that I was attending was, while a total perfection may be a myth, but progress is the key. So the progress should happen, and that's that part. And passion. Your kids have something that they are very, very passionate for. If that can be identified, that will make a huge difference. So that's that. And I like the way you had given examples and correlated with the daily life, how things happen. Now, all the parents, they're looking for that one mantra in life, that agar ye ho jaye, so I think my kids will be on the right track. So if you have to give, maybe a top suggestion to the parents, maybe one or two that will make a difference in their parenting journey, what would that be?
All right. I'll start with the part that the miracle has already happened in their life. For a child to take birth, the odds against it being a happy, healthy child are tremendous. The moment you have a child who's born healthy, be grateful first and foremost. So the miracle has happened. The second miracle is that every child is a genius. Only thing is our eyes and lens. Do we have the lens to see the genius in every child there? So identified, look at it, and many times we as parents become blind to what the strengths of our own child are, because in today's day and age, and it happens for everybody, it may have happened for me also at times, we are busy looking at what the strengths of other prodigies and other children are, the
The whole
so-called
comparison.
competitors. I went for the interview round at St. Stephen's with my child for the college admission out there. And over there, the students who were appearing for interview were very chilled out. They were confident because they had already met the merit out there. But the parents were literally like fierce lions and lionesses looking at each other, willing to gobble up all competition. Now, that was a sad state of affairs. They could have sat down comfortably, enjoyed in the bliss. Not every child would make it to a college of eminence, but for every child, there's an excellent college. Yes, let's live in that belief there. And the students and the children do find their calling. Now, the one mantra that you've asked is believe that when we are training our children, it's like riding or training them to ride a bicycle. Initially, we have to help them board the bicycle.
Yes.
There will be suspenders there to help them so that they don't fall off. But at grade 5 and 6, please move away, step back, because it's the time for the child to learn to cycle independently on their own and remove the suspenders. Through our life, we have seen the children who have parents who allow them to be, who sit with them and share the journey and do the hard work, not necessarily trusting only tutors or high paid courses for the part that this will make my child brilliant, but they've worked hard every day, been with their children, attended their functions, their PTMs, let them know with simple things also. You don't need a million bucks to be there with your child there. Yes. On the other hand, there were fantastic children whose parents became so ambitious that they were telling them even at grade 10, 11, 12, when to wake up, what to wear, what to say, whom to be friends with, whom not to be friends with out there. So the children became so dependent that gradually the grades start to fall. So a child, if the parenting style is right and the space is given to a child, from an 80% for a child to come to 98% is no rocket science. The student will get there. Yes. Children want to be successful. Basically, they're happy people. It's when we interfere in what they are and what they want to be. I'm not saying that we don't discipline them at all. Please don't mistake it. But if we start dictating how they have to live their lives and which is as per our chart, then things will fall apart there. So please keep away from that. I know at times it's so difficult to keep quiet that this is not the right shirt, this is not the right t-shirt, it will not be accepted well there, or the kind of hair you're sporting right now is not very good out there. But do give them that space, because remember your own school days, etc. You really value when somebody respects you for what you are. So that we have to make it evident, and students will find it. Maybe one semester, 2 semesters, the grades may go 10% down or up. Grade 6 and 7, take that chance. Yes, that's 10th, 11th, 12th is not the time when you are trying to make them independent. So grade 5, 6, move away, let them be and let them do their work on their own, but hold them accountable and make them responsible. That's it.
Crucial points out there. And, what you said was, very profound. Relate, all the parents out there, relate to the genius that he is. And this reminds me, and I was smiling in between thinking of a conversation that, you go to a wedding, of course, not now, pre-pandemic times, you go to a wedding and you go to a gathering and, there are people asking about, your relatives nearby, how is the child doing and all okay. And the parent says, nalayak padta hi nahi hai, and he's not doing it. So I think the point that we've missed on is that we did not relate to our child as a genius that he or she is, in that conversation when we kind of made the child small in front of other people. So I like the point that you had you brought
Kamalneet, can
out.
I give an example? And it's a
Please,
live
please,
example from our
please.
school only. There's a child who joined us in preschool,
Yeah.
and he was very active and much active than the other children. So the parents were worried, the teachers were worried. We went across. We have an expert, and we'd also gone. So what we discovered that the child was brilliant. Whatever the teacher was teaching, the child got the hang of it in nurseries and kindergarten. There has to be a lot of repetition so that the children understand it. It goes from the soft mom memory to the permanent memory there. He would get it in 3 seconds, whatever the teacher was trying to say. After that, he had time on his hands for the next 20 minutes. Now, because the things were not as challenging, so he found ways to challenge himself there. So we said, and for years we worked with him. You realize in grade 5, there was a pan India quiz. He was the top 10 brains in India.
Wonderful.
From nursery, everybody being worried whether the child has ADHD or has he got some special needs there. So we have to have the eyes to understand. Usually, the children who are very naughty and mischievous are at the facing end of it. Most of the time, 90% I found these are children who have very high IQs. So give them things that they like to do and will challenge their intelligence out there, and something brilliant will come out of it.
So I think it's a good news for all the parents who think my kid is that way. So the good news is that 90%, a huge probability that he or she is going to turn out somebody that you will be really proud of. So, I think this is more of a solace to the parents who are concerned, right? Great. So now, the competition is increasing. We cannot turn a blind eye to it. We know that technologies are coming in. The world is changing at a very fast pace. I know that sounds cliched, but then the truth is that we are changing at a very fast pace. What in your opinion, what skills and what is it that the child can learn at an early age that might help him stand out when he enters into the real world?
Okay, one, the children need to have very good communication skills because you learn through language. The subjects are taught to you through language. You express yourself through language. So at the right time, a lot of which is primary, the children should have very strong language skills. Basic numeracy, all of them should have, and mathematics and data, we know already is coming in a major manner. So in our school also, we are encouraging it. So computation skills need to be there. But at the same point of time, we should not just be machine dependent. We can be tech driven, but not machine dependent. I'll give you an example. You go to a vegetable seller and he may have a small child assisting him. He will do all the calculation from 370 grams for a bunch of radish at the rate of 40 rupees per kg. It's going to come in 2 seconds before you can calculate. Somebody with a degree and a doctoral won't be able to calculate as fast. That skill is important. Very important. Whereas you have, students who have done their degrees and they cannot multiply 2 digits with 2 digits. They need a calculator to be able to do that. Now that's a warning sign. Yes. So first and foremost, again, hard work is there. There is a routine there. We have to be very open to technology, but we cannot be addicted to technology. There are brilliant students whose grades fall and then they miss out on their years and competition years because they're busy gaming it away the whole night. Yes. Whereas there are other children who are burning the midnight oil to study. Yes. Now, one more important thing. Yes, digital devices are very important, but one of our advisors told us कि बच्चा जितना ink से लिखेगा, I'm telling in the same tone out there, जितना ink पर लिखेगा, जितनी ink बहाएगा, उन्होंने बोला, literally like a poetry there, और जितना paper उसका खर्च होगा, उतना आगे जाएगा. So make them practice. The moment they are in 10th, 9th, 10th, at least 3 hours of written work they will have to do, even if they have digital devices, because somehow concrete settles into the brain well. I don't think right now we have sufficient research to prove it, but I know of IAS officers, I have seen IFS officers there who used to practice on chalk and board. So their hands, even when they were serving IAS officers, because they were aspiring for higher competitions there. So don't take away these real things from them. We still have the luxury. You can still afford notebook and pencils and pens. Make them draw, make them paint there. Last but not the least, company is important. संगत का बहुत फर्क पड़ता है. So parents have to see what their own company is, because children will pick it up from there and learn make them give back to the community. The communities which give very strongly back to others are the ones which train individuals who make a difference in the community out there. So please make sure that we make our children give back to the community. It's very important. Last but not the least, whenever the students are preparing for competitive examinations, we've done a research and we found out here, there is one important part that children forget to do. They practice the previous year question papers, which are very important, but they don't practice doing corrections. So now how will you improve your record or your score at the NEET or at the IELTS or at the GRE or the GMAT or the IIT that you are trying to crack out there? Do attempt the question papers, look at what the model answers are, look at where you made a mistake, and where you made a mistake, practice thrice. So your scores will improve only if your weak areas are improved upon there, because usually children will start practicing with the same chapters that they're already strong in. So that's not going to improve your score, because the best you already gave in that paper there. So corrections, the teachers have to take care of corrections. The parents have to see that the corrections are being done there. Just see that they are doing it. And children have to take onus and become independent learners. You are learning at this age. I am learning at this age. So they have to become independent learners, typically by 8th onwards.
Oh, that's roughly around 15 years or so.
Yes, 14 years or so.
So you narrated a couple of points, and one being strong communication skills, the basic numeracy skills, and being good with numbers. And I love the example of how that vegetable guy quickly calculates. And sometimes I wonder that I just told him what I need, and he has his calculations in place. So that one is good. And then being a lifelong learner, you said kids being independent and also learning from their weaknesses. I know that kids have this tendency to go to that chapter, which is the easiest for them, and because it gives them a lot of comfort, I think, somewhere. But the goal is to bell the cat, wherein pick up the tough ones and work on the same. Now, one last
easy balance is eat the frog first. Whatever you find the most difficult, address that first. So if you find mathematics challenging, practice mathematics first. If it's physics, which is a challenge, or accountancy, then practice that first, and then you have time for the easy ones.
True, very true. You remind me of a statement around this one, which says that if you anyways have to eat the frog, it doesn't really pay looking at it.
Yes. You're just prolonging the agony that you have to go through. True. So do it first and be done with it.
Yeah. So eat the frog. Let the kids eat the frog first, and metaphorically, all the parents out there.
Metaphorically, we are environmentally sensitive and conscious.
Great, correct. One last, at Maxfort, Dwarka, New Delhi, there is so much that happens. There's a lot of reputation that the school has earned. So, why don't you give us a sneak peek into, an activity or so, or a practice or so, which is there to foster overall development?
Okay, there are so many. From your students presenting their results to parents, we have student-led conferences. A lot of international schools do that. Right. So the children always give the result to their parents, explaining what they did well and where they need to improve. This is from nursery itself. Yes, in the early classes, the teachers do scaffold them, because it puts them at the focus. When you are talking about the result, whose result is it? It's the student's result. It's the same class with 30 or 40 children, same brick and mortar walls. Yes, same teacher, same air and same content, and parents are basically from the same milieu. They're all from Delhi if they're coming to your school there, and they are in a city which is the national capital. So all of them have high levels of exposure. So how is it that student result differs? Because every child has committed to a different order of studying and giving back there. So hold them accountable from the very beginning. Yes. And what it does is it creates a synergy between the parent and the teachers also, and it's not a blame game. Because we partner. Next, we invite the parents for a lot of activities, and our children as well. So if you're talking about parents facilitators meeting out there, the whole school, and I'm talking in the offline mode, is turned into a carnival so that parents experience exactly what their children are experiencing. Brilliant. So there will be a music department which is holding prayers for peace or prayers for health in one corner with the school choir, so the parents can experience that. There's the art department which has laid out huge canvas and paints galore with your aprons that parents and children can paint their heart out. So there'll be a theme they can paint, so color can express it out there. We have cafeteria days for parents and children both, where we turn canopies and there are, nice shaded areas and seating where the parents can enjoy a meal with their children, what is being served in the school. So they know this is what we serve there. So they have some moments of luxury, not just what are your grades, what are your marks, etc. We have Good Earth initiative in the school, where we are looking at a very organic blend to life there. So whatever spaces are there, we are trying to grow not just ornamental plants, but herbs, and then we distribute them among staff, amongst children, amongst visitors, so that it is something edible which brings nutrition to the body. So it's not just the aesthetics, but the utility that something brings across. Now that Good Earth program we have taken as a community drive even outside. So if you were to visit our school, the whole outside area has been turned almost into a boulevard with us planting, cleaning, maintaining security, solar lights there. So in the evening, the grandparents can walk comfortably with the children, etc. So it's like an oasis. So it's become a landmark. So if anybody has to say with school, so when they come during admissions, I ask them, why do you want to put in our school? We know about your school. So I say, you want to ask something? Oh no, we know already. Then you ask them that, how did you find out what the school? Oh, it's a landmark. Even the parcel fellow who come for delivery, we say, वो फूलों वाला जो स्कूल है ना, जहाँ बहुत सारे फूल मिलेंगे, बस वही हमारा घर है. So how do you turn into a landmark from something where parents early wonder कि ये एक school आ गया तो अब traffic rush रहेगा या jam रहेगा या फिर बहुत ज़्यादा PA system रहेगा out there. You turn that into an advantage because you give back to the community. So last but not the least, we said we will provide collegial environment. We will be punctual, we will be disciplined, but that does not mean that we are going to be authoritarian. It's not a dictatorship. I sit in the corridors and there's a workstation for me right outside grade 12. So when they are there, they can talk with me. I'm accessible. Teachers know that here I can ask instead of going through the protocol chain there. The teachers are accessible. We don't have big staff room out there. We have work stations for teachers where the students can easily approach them, etc. It's very open and transparent. And the very important thing is we need to hold dialogues, dialogues. Plato had dialogues out there even now, like universal values. So I tell them, baatein karo. When we talk, a lot of issues get addressed and problems are prevented and genius is nurtured. The children talk it out. They tell us this paper was too easy. We are back to the drawing board. Why was the paper easy? Why could we not challenge? Or these two questions were too tough. We go and we look at our lesson plan and there's a washback. Those two chapters would be done again so that children have stronger concepts out there. So we take that kind of feedback very, very strongly there. And I think the real reason that we are a success is we have had fantastic parents who understood what we were trying to do. Our advertisement budgets are almost nil. We invest all that in teacher training. Our investments are right, I feel, because it's people who make that, and it's the teachers who are going to make the community. It's not just the building. We have a fabulous building. That's an add-on.
I've seen that.
You've been there? All right. So we are very grateful to the management for giving us everything that we want to give. Last, we provide lots of opportunities. If our teachers have to go to train, I'm there. The management is there. We are there. We push them into it. So they get offs. They get paid offs, etc. to do that needful there. The students also, we don't limit their participation. Like some organizations might have that for this competition, we'll send only 2 or 3. If it is open-ended, we allow the parents that we recommend that this is something which is very important. And I'm giving you, there's an international decathlon that we take part in. Usual norm for schools to participate is 12 teams. So that's going to be 36 children to 50 children. I've seen when our school contingent goes to participate, it's never less than 250. Now, if the students have that kind of exposure from grade 6 onwards, where they're winning international medals, yes, it adds up to their value because then they understand that genius it is which is within them. So give them lots of opportunities. So you will see in our corridors, we have paintings. So they can learn about art. There's a Monet, Manet, there's a Jamini Roy. There are so many more that are there. So every space, every corner resource we use so that it is an experience. Education should be an experience of a life at all points of time. These should be breathing spaces which nurture us. That's what we try to do. And I think that has given us very nice results there everywhere.
I'm sure about it. And now I know that why parents are hell-bent on getting admission into Maxfort Dwarka. And, because you gave us a sneak peek, some brilliant initiatives. In fact, this part of the conversation, also opens doors for all the educators out there watching. the different types of initiatives being taken at Maxfort Dwarka, and that does make a difference. And I like the point when you said the fool wala says wo wala jo school hai na jiske bahar phool lage hue hain, the landmark. I think it's the effort that goes into making that landmark, and they truly say that teamwork makes the dream work, and really happy to hear the initiatives that are being taken. In fact, for a second I was thinking, I wish while I was growing up I had that kind of an exposure.
We have our teachers wishing the same. I wish the same so many times, because sometimes, when we put ourselves on a pedestal, we also distance ourselves from something which is most precious, that is our students here for us. We should always be there with them. I tell my students very nicely that whenever you go, wherever you are in the world, you have that green signature. Don't just take it as a signature. It's a principal signature on your certificate. Your 10th and 12th certificate will always get used. Remember, this is the prayer of millions behind you, which is the wing behind your wings out there. So fly high. Never find yourself to be alone there, because we pray at the end of the day, you pray that whatever efforts you put in, they bear fruits. So the students move out with the belief that this whole community is with us.
Beautiful thoughts, and really inspired by the ideas being implemented at a tangible level, and also at the thought level, because it's the thought that takes shape into tangibility of things. And very happy to hear that. So all the parents out there, I'm sure you had a treat. I'm sure you would have made some notes for yourself, and it's time that you implement, so that you get the results for your kids, and this whole journey of parenting becomes a cherished one. And any concluding thoughts?
Just that, when we live with our children, we have to learn to live in the present with them, not looking at what has happened in the past or what might happen in the future. We just have to belong with them, and our children are the ones who will actually show the new world to us. So have that belief in them always. I have never seen a student ever fail us. Many times our mics may have gone off record, or the tech might have failed, or some assignments may not have landed upon time, but students have always been true and always brought success. So just this bit, parents, no matter what challenge or phase of life your child is going through, have faith in them, because they'll always be true to you.
Wonderful thought. And parents, so the word is place your belief. So belief and believe in them is the mantra. And I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking out time, and turned out to be a beautiful conversation. And I'm very, very sure that parents will pick up the golden nuggets, and will make a difference in their life by implementing them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. And I'm sure this whole series is going to be very successful, because I firmly believe that principals in schools are the best teachers. So you're bringing the teachers back to teaching. I'm grateful for the opportunity again to be a teacher. Thank you, Kamalneet.